Good evening to you and welcome to Business. Government says it has no immediate plans of scrapping taxes on petroleum products to help deal with expected hikes in fuel prices. Some civil society groups and experts have been calling for further reduction in the taxes on the various products to help manage projections that crude oil could be going up further in the coming weeks. But here's what Deputy Energy Minister Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam tells Joy Business.
We came into government where the tax component in the petroleum price build-up was 40%. 40% by March 2017. To date, we have been able to reduce it to 26%. The excise tax on petroleum products was abolished completely. The special petroleum tax, and these are the two major taxes. All the others, yes, they are levies, but they are levies for specific purposes. The only levies or taxes that go to the government budget were the excise tax and then the special petroleum tax. Now, government has abolished the excise tax. And then the special petroleum tax, which is the second one, government has reduced it from 17.5% to about 12.5, 13%. But in addition to reducing it by that margin, government has converted it from ad valorem tax to specific tax. So it is not volume-based any longer. Otherwise, if you were buying more, then the amount you pay in respect of the special petroleum tax, when it was ad valorem tax, was also more. But making it a specific tax, you have a fixed amount which you have to pay, whether you consume more or less. And so these are the interventions on the fiscal side. But apart from this, you know that there is another levy we call the stabilization levy and the under-recovery levy. This is to help us stabilize the price. I'm talking about stabilizing prices. And so where you have exhausted that money, then you do not have any money to stabilize prices.
But I'll be coming to that clarity because I went through the accounts that we have in the U.S. Federal Reserve. I didn't see that figures as in the zeros being written there, but I'll come for clarity on the one too. So do I get the understanding that in terms of further reviews on the taxes as at now, that will be difficult to do because still when you engage those other civil society groups and all the rest, they are still pushing for reviewing the tax build-up, and maybe that could help cushion consumers?
Before I address that, I wanted to let you know that the price stabilization levy is also for under-recoveries. It's not just to stabilize price, but also for under-recoveries. There are under-recoveries because we still subsidize kerosene, right? We still subsidize aviation premix fuel. We still subsidize fuel oil, which is used by industry, by factories. We still subsidize them because of the impact they have on industrial production, because of the impact they have on fishing, on the fishing industry. We still subsidize. And it is this stabilization and under-recovery levy which is used for that purpose. And so if it is not being used for stabilization, it is being used to pay subsidies for premix fuel and then for fuel oil.
Meanwhile, prices of petroleum products are expected to go up marginally in the second pricing window for the month of October in the next few days. The projected increase is due to some unfavorable developments on the international markets. Away from that, some business associations have criticized timeliness given for the implementation of the cargo tracking note system. The Ghana Union of Traders Association, GUTA, and the Chamber of Commerce and Industries say the CTN will not only disrupt trading activities at the ports, but also drive away investors. Charles Aiti has more in this report.
The CTN system has begun in earnest, but with some controversy surrounding its implementation. The Ghana Chamber of Commerce and Industry has described the cargo tracking note system as a rushed decision by government, while the Ghana Institute of Freight Forwarders also thinks the GRA has acted in bad faith. Addressing the media, President of the Chamber of Commerce, who is also on the board of the Ghana Port and Harbours Authority, says broader consultation needs to be conducted on this matter.
Port and Harbours Authority, even though it's a government agency or authority, I want to say that some of these things, they are not aware. I am on the board of GPHA, and this CTN was not discussed even at the board level. Why? So we could have waited and taken all the stakeholders through this process so that we all buy into it and then move it. For me as a person, let me tell you, if it were for the objective that was set by the Commissioner of GRA, we could have given out incentives instead.
Meanwhile, President of the Ghana Union of Traders Association, Dr. Joseph Obeng, says, contrary to government's quest that the CTN will help rake in more revenue, the model will not only slow down import activities at the port, but also lead to some huge losses to the trading community.
We have to look at the whole thing holistically and see imposing this on us will not augur well for us. For the trading community, we say we are not accepting any imposition with regard with quotas, registration, going for a code, going to apply for exemption and all that. We are not going to do any such thing, seriously. And so I will entreat all the trading public, especially those who belong to GUTA and the other stakeholder grouping, to start organizing emergency meetings and then bring their feedback to us so that we know what to do as soon as possible.
Well, so far, government has stated that the introduction of the cargo tracking notes will, in the long run, improve revenue mobilization and risk management at the ports. But business associations are still insisting the need for broader consultation as well as the consideration of the cost that this could incur on them in the longer future. I'm Charles Aita reporting for Joy Business.
Government has shortlisted 6 firms out of 20 companies that submitted bids to redevelop the Tema Shipyard and Dry Dock facility into a world-class structure. Speaking at the pre-proposal bidding conference for selected strategic investors, Minister for Transport Kweku Foria-Siama noted the selected partner will be given the necessary support to invest in modern technology to make the facility a world-class one.
2012 reacquired its previously held majority stake in the Shipyard Dry Dock Company from a Malaysian firm, Boosted Limited. Government considers the shipyard a strategic national asset and seeks to rehabilitate and upgrade it into a modern, well-equipped facility to ensure it contributes significantly to the integrated bauxite as well as the oil and gas industry. The growth of the oil and gas sector requires the development of the shipyard to promote local content within the industry. The 6 selected companies are joint venture companies between some Ghanaians and international counterparts. Kweku Foria-Siama is Minister for Transport.
A tour of the shipyard has been planned after this session for those who want to see the shipyard to enable them ascertain at the first hand the state of the facility of our yard. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the expectation of government that the private partner that will be selected at the end of the solicitation processes will partner government to bring about the needed technology and investment that would eventually lead to the scale-up facilities at the yard. With the oil and gas activities in Ghana, the shipyard is well positioned to take advantage of the opportunities and help to promote local content and improve Ghana's competitiveness in West Africa offshore oil and gas industry.
Transactional advisor of the bidding process, David Ofosu-Dorte, has been speaking about the next stage before government signs the development agreement with a successful bidder.
The process closes on November 2nd, and based on the submissions received on that day, the GOG will set up an evaluation team, which will be comprised of the government of Ghana officials and some technical advisors. And based on that, recommendations will be made and it will be sent to the ministry, to cabinet for approval, and the process will normally end with parliamentary approval, especially if it involves a foreign investor. So that is the core process that we will go through, and to this extent, unless there is any immediate clarification regarding what has been said by the minister or myself, we can end the open issues here.
The selected companies include Darmac Marine and Engineering, Lador Free Zone Enterprise, Secant Technologies, Submarine Holdings, Strategic Securities Limited, and Life Forms Limited.
And that's all in business for tonight. Many thanks for watching. My name is Emmanuel Abuaji. For more business news, log on to myjoyonline.com/business. Have a good evening.